Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Abilities Podcast. I am your host, Nick Yerhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So on today's episode, we have Johnny, and we've been trying to get this podcast to happen for a while. So I'm really excited that we finally made it happen. So, Johnny, can you tell everybody about yourself?
Yeah, I am Jon-Lee Campbell. I am the founder of Differently Abled Entertainment, a nonprofit that works with marginalized groups in the entertainment industry. I'm also a paraplegic actress, model, and director, producer myself. So that's why I started the organization.
That's amazing, and I love that you're doing that because I have cerebral palsy, so it's cool to see people like you out there helping our community.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And yes, I mean, that's what it's about. I mean, our community, and other communities as well, other marginalized groups as well. I mean, we need to have our stories told, because when people don't understand or have never, encountered anybody, then it just leaves them in that space to be ignorant and then not in a mean way, in a way, it's just they can't help themselves. And so
Yeah.
that's why we need exposure. We need representation, proper representation.
Yep. Yeah, and people, if they don't grow up around somebody that has a disability, or I like to say different ability, they just don't really understand. And it's cool to see the kids that had me as they grew up. Like they look at people a totally different way, which is awesome. There's a lot less judgment, which is always nice.
Yes, I would agree. And, I'm a parent myself. I have 4 kids. And so, people have asked them, like, what's it like to have a mom in a wheelchair? And they're like, well, I don't know what's it like to have a mom. To them, they don't they don't know. It's just what they've grew up with, and it's not any
Yep.
different. But it has taught them, empathy and understanding. And also because of what I do and I've, made sure to introduce them to a lot of different kinds of people. Um, that all goes in with that as well. It's people being exposed to, people and getting to know people because we're all just human beings.
Yep. We are. We are. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about your upbringing and kind of some of the challenges that you faced growing up.
hmm
Is there anything that sticks out to you that you think the audience might be facing and you could help them kind of get through it?
Well, I've definitely been through my share of trials and tribulations. I mean, yes, I did have my car wreck. I mean, that's the big one that people often want to know about, like how I ended up in my chair is I wrecked my
Okay.
car when I was 16. And so that's how I became a paraplegic. But I've also, I'm a single mother now because I got out of an abusive relationship, you know. I've seen some things and I've done some things and yeah, I'm pretty much an open book. I like to share that with people because it helps to know that like things can be better, and even though things are difficult, or maybe you have to go about life differently because of whatever struggles you're facing, it doesn't mean that you're not capable of going after whatever it is that you want to go after. You might just have to do it differently. It might be bumpy. It might be scary. It might be really hard, but you can do it. And so that's all that I have to say to anybody that's listening is life is hard on all levels for everyone. And so, w- you know, and it sounds cliche, but it's up to us to push through that and endure whatever it is that we have to endure and try to come out better on the other side. I try to learn something every day, try to do something new as often as I can. I like to be challenged. I like to experience life, and so That's all I can say to anybody is whatever it is that's going on in your life, don't let it hold you back from experiencing life in whatever aspect you can. Even if it's just getting outside and going for a walk or a roll or a whatever it is that you gotta do.
Yeah. Amen. I love that. This show is called the Infinite Ability Podcast because I do believe that we all have abilities that we're not aware of. And if we just set our mind to something and work hard at it, we can achieve like anything we want. And it's just the power of believing in yourself and honestly not listening to what others tell you that you can or can't do. Like that's something that kind of held me back, earlier in life is I listened to so-called experts,
Mhm.
doctors or my parents or grandparents. And, luckily my parents kind of forced me to figure out what I could do. And I'm truly grateful for that.
Yeah. You know, that's it. A lot of times people, especially when it comes to the disabled community, we are held back a lot of times because people think that it'll be easier for us and it's safer for us.
Hmm.
But in all reality, it just makes life that much harder and that much, I don't know. It's hard, like, when you're told, like, "You can't do that." No, well, yes, I can. Yes, you can. Yes, we can, because yeah, everybody's got something inside of them that they can do, or even if it's something that, they like I said, if you have to do it differently, that's okay too, We're not all
Yep.
meant to be the same. That would be a
No.
very boring world to live in if we were all
Yeah.
exactly the same and we could all do the same things and we all had the same talents. That would be pretty boring.
It would be, and we do have to figure out how to do things in our own way. For me, my hands don't work the greatest, so usually when I use my phone, I use it with my nose. Like I literally type on it with my nose because it's faster and easier. And there's a lot of things like that I do every single day that you know a lot of people don't have to do, but I
Mhm.
do, and I make it work. And, going off what you were talking about, I was told, or my parents were told, when I got diagnosed at 1 years old, that I would never walk, I might not talk. And then later on in life, I was told I wouldn't be able to go through mainstream school, which I did. And then I was told that I couldn't get my driver's license, but then I did, you know? So, and all those things wouldn't have happened if I didn't try. You have to try and, just keep trying until you figure it out.
That's right. I love that because, yeah, that's the truth. 'Cause throughout life, people will try to hold you back for good and for bad, but, it's up to you to try and to do it. If you want it, you go for it, and after my accident, kind of the same thing. The principal of my high school told me that I should just drop out of school and get my GED because, I wasn't gonna be able to do anything anyway now that I was a paraplegic. And,
Wow.
and not that people that get their GED can't get it do anything because I know plenty of people that get their GEDs for a lot of different reasons, um, and do fabulous things. So that's
Yeah.
neither here nor there also. But I had always wanted to graduate high school. That was a goal that I had in mind.
Mhm.
A little bit about my family. My mom didn't graduate high school because she was a young mother. And my older 2 of my older siblings on my mom's, because I have 2 siblings from my mom's first marriage and a sibling from my dad's first marriage. But my siblings from my mom's first marriage, they didn't graduate high school either for a couple of different reasons. And so I had had it in my mind from when I was younger that I wanted to graduate high school. Like I wanted to do that. My older brother from my dad's first marriage, he did graduate high school, but I wanted to be from my mom's side, from my mom's kid that graduated high school And I decided that when I was, like, in 6th grade or whatever it was, when my sister dropped out of high school. Um, and so those were decisions that I had made and goals that I had in mind that somebody else thought that just because now I used a wheelchair, they didn't matter anymore. And I was like, "No, my goals and my dreams and all those things still do matter. I'm
Yep, they
still
do.
I'm still a smart and talented person, so why would you want me to just sit at home and not do anything?" And I
Mhm.
feel like, that's
Exactly.
what a lot of society expects of people within the disabled community, is we're just
Yep.
supposed to sit there and there used to be laws that we weren't supposed to even be seen in public. You're not supposed to be seen nor heard, and I mean, and it really hasn't been that many years. I mean, we're talking 50 years since some of those last rules were abolished. And so
Mhm.
that's not very long in the grand scheme of
No.
things. And
No.
so it's those people like yourself and like myself that, I feel, and others, that I'm glad that we are seeing more people speak up about their issues, and even some of the unseen disabilities, and mental health awareness and all the things that are becoming more acceptable than what they used to be. And people are becoming more empathetic and compassionate to those things. And that's what we need. That's what we need to be better as a human society.
Yep. I agree 100 percent. And it's nice because I have noticed, going out in public, there are a lot more, you know, differently able people out there than I used to see years ago, which
Hmm.
is really cool to see. It's awesome to see how towns and communities are adapting. I know the town that I live in, it's there's not many places you can't go in a wheelchair anymore, which is so cool to see, you know? So, and that's all because, people are becoming more aware of what we need and how we can, fit into society. And I think it's really awesome.
I do too. I am a big advocate. I've been a person in a few different towns to get some things done because,
Awesome.
I'm not afraid to speak up and say, "Hey, like this needs to change." You know,
Yep.
the my high school is now more accessible because I in continued in high school. The colleges that I went to, I served on student government and made their campuses more accessible. You know, I've
Awesome.
I've done things in, different cities, going to city council meetings and stuff like that, because these things are important.
Yeah, they are.
Nobody should just be told to sit down and be quiet and stay in the corner and not be seen and not be heard and not do the things that they want to do. Nobody.
No. And like, it's okay if you do live on disability. That's totally fine. I know I did that at one point in my life, and I quickly realized I wasn't gonna be able to have the life that I dreamed of by just sitting around doing nothing, So that's why I love what I'm doing now. I have a business. I help other businesses. I help people with disabilities. I just love it, and I'm I created the life that I want because I didn't listen to the naysayers my whole life. Unfortunately, some of the people are really close to you. I know my own mother has said some things, and I'm thankful that I didn't just listen to her. I decided I'm gonna chase my dreams no matter what anybody says. And I love that you're doing that too. So, can you remind us what your organization is called?
Differently abled entertainment. And
I
we
love
go
that
by
name.
day because it's easier, so it's DAE, so we call ourselves Day a lot just because it's less of a mouthful than
Yep.
differently abled entertainment, and so, yeah, like, our website is our day, like, belonging to us, OURDAE.org. But yeah, because it's our day. It's our day to shine. It's our day to tell our stories. It's our day to show what we can show, you know? And
That's
so that's
amazing.
where that comes from. And so, yeah, and we got some fun stuff going on lately. Right now we're working on um writing a couple feature films
Ooh,
and started doing burlesque. We added a burlesque troupe to our group and some of the things that we're doing, and that's been a lot of fun. And we're still
I
doing
don't
our
even
plays and our photo shoots and our other things that we do as well.
I don't even know what a burlesque is.
Well, a burlesque is like an old school tease, kind of strip tease, but
Okay,
yeah, but
that's cool.
more with acting and, like, show tuney type of situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So, like, what all do you guys do? Do you bring in actors and actresses to do these sort of roles? You know, kind of explain like how people can get involved with what you do, how they can either support you or actually join you.
Yeah. Well, we definitely, mostly, I mean, for the in-person stuff that we have going on, for most of the stuff that we're doing right here, we're based in Tucson. But we have just added to our website, it's a nationwide database that other actors that are differently abled can sign up to and get, notices of different casting opportunities in their areas that are local to them. And that's ableactors.com. And that is connected to our organization. And so, and it's something that we're just launching and just getting going. We're super excited. There's already quite a few people signed up. And so, but yeah, that's something that anybody in the nation can sign up to that database. And it's basically, it sends out casting notices. And so, like, if there's a commercial or a film going on in your area that does need somebody that is differently abled, you will get the notice to send in your audition and send in your information for that to be a part of that project. And that's projects that are, you know, just like I said, nationwide that aren't necessarily connected to our organization. We are starting a few other chapters in other cities, and that is also something that I would like to see more of, and I'm trying to see more of is, I would like to see day in other cities, I
Yeah,
feel like we need to be up in, Minneapolis, and we need to be, in Chicago, and we need to be other places than just Tucson. And we have a Phoenix chapter opening, and we do have a small Nebraska chapter kind of, and a Montana chapter that's trying to get going. And so
that's
we're
awesome.
starting to spread out. Um, and so yeah, I'm always interested in hearing from people that want to get involved. Even some of our volunteer opportunities, if you do want to help with the organization, can be done virtually if you're not here in Tucson. But yeah,
Oh, that's
obviously,
cool.
like the burlesque shows right now, we're here. Not that we wouldn't
Hmm.
want to travel, and not that I wouldn't support putting things together in other cities, but baby steps. And this is kind of mostly where we do a lot of our actual events that are connected to the organization are all still just kind of in Arizona right now. But we're looking to expand.
Awesome. And how long have you guys been doing this?
So, the organization, we're coming in on our 5th year as a nonprofit. This
Wow.
next spring will be our 5th birthday as a nonprofit organization. So it's pretty exciting.
Well, it sounds like you've grown a lot in 5 years. Well, look, you're already expanding, which is huge.
Yeah, yeah, we are. And I mean, in some things we've had to take a step back. We did have to close our physical location here in Tucson just because overhead was too much.
Yeah.
Um, we're still trying to get in on some grants and get some more sponsors and get some regular donors,
Mhm.
monthly donors that are even $5 a month. Like that's kind of, we've been trying to get more people to be willing to sacrifice one Starbucks a month today,
I like that. I like that. That's awesome.
or whatever it may be, your under $10 treat, if you could sacrifice one of those a month and, send a donation in today and become a monthly, donator, it helps so much. And so we're trying to build up some more of that. And so we can possibly get back into a full-time space of our own. But right now, we're doing our shows at different venues, but it's kind of nice because we get to re-immerse ourselves in different parts of the town and get to know, more of the different pockets of, you know, here in Tucson. Cause I don't know, Tucson's it's not really that big of a town, but people are very much neighborhood oriented here. It's kind of interesting. They don't like going too far from home.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said people can donate on ourday.org. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
correct?
you can. You can donate on our website. You can also text the word DAE to 53555, and it'll send you back the secure link. And we use GiveButter, and we get 100% of the donations that are
Oh,
donated
wow.
to us. So it's not like on like GoFundMe and a couple of the other platforms, PayPal and stuff like that, that take a percentage. They don't. We get 100% of the donations that go through that platform. So it's nice. But yeah, so and the link on the website takes you to the same thing, but sometimes it's just easier to text.
Yep, it
And
is.
so
That's
it's
all awesome.
yeah.
So before we wrap this up, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
My slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Oh, well, lately, this last year, I've challenged myself to try new things that have always scared me, such as burlesque. That was a thing that I was always wanted to do, and I've always admired the art, but I was very, very scared to try myself because being a wheelchair user, being a full figured woman, these things kind of hold you back sometimes. And so going after it and doing it and then seeing that, oh wow, like I did that and it was actually
Mhm.
pretty good. And so like
Awesome.
that was like really kind of showing me. And I also tried stand-up comedy, even though I can't stand up, but bump a couple
That's
times
awesome.
a couple times this last year. And it's something that I'm starting to get more into. So, I think when we challenge ourselves, we really see what we're capable of. And our abilities really are infinite if we challenge ourselves to try new things.
Yeah, and those new things that we tried, look, I know for me, a lot of the things that I didn't ever want to do, like speaking on stages, I never ever wanted to do that. And then now I do it here and there, and it's such a rush. After the first like 10 to 15 minutes, the first 10 to 15 kind of suck, but after that, it's like this is awesome. And I love doing it, and I love sharing my message and helping others. So yeah, like, I tell people get comfortable with being uncomfortable, and your life will be a lot better.
I agree 100% because life is never comfortable for very long. A
No,
lot of times.
no,
I mean, we all have our different things, even if it's just a silly day to day thing, you know?
yep, yep, I agree. All right, Johnny, this was so awesome. I love the work that you're doing. I love how many people you're helping, and I can't wait to follow your path and see how big you guys get. It's gonna be so awesome.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate you. This was great connecting again, and I can't wait to do it again.
So sounds good.
All right.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick Yerhart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. All right, everyone, remember your abilities are infinite.